Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Character Analysis, and with all the drama going on the last 2 weeks, I can proudly say we're back to normal here on the channel. And starting off with getting right back to character analysis, we have our Black Ops character analysis that we're going to continue to do. So today we're going to be talking about Grigori Weaver. So he's a pretty important part of the story. He does fight alongside you in a few missions, and spoiler alert, he is one of the interrogators interrogating Mason throughout the Black Ops 1 campaign. So, yes, that is a spoiler for some people. But, yeah. So, as always, getting all this off of the COD Wiki. Beautiful, beautiful site. I recommend you go over there. So, Special Agent Grigori Weaver was one of the secondary characters and non-playable character in the Call of Duty Black Ops campaign. He's member of the CIA Special Activities Division and part of the squad in the mission WMD. The call sign for his squad during WMD is Kilo 1. He is also appearing in the mission numbers alongside Jason Hudson as one of the two who interrogate Dr. Daniel Clark. He loses his left eye during executive order after Lev Kravchenko gouges it out with a knife and wears an eye patch throughout the remainder of the campaign. Later it is revealed that he and Hudson are the ones who are interrogating Alex Mason, as I mentioned. Weaver makes an appearance in COD 4 as he is in a character in blackout mode and during Operation Dark Divide. We're not going to be really talking about that or any of the Cold War stuff, so yeah. We're going to be getting into his early life chapter now. So according to Weaver's CIA dossier, he was born in the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics on November 10, 1936. His father was a local political figure who was killed during the Stalin's Great Purge, and his mother defected with their children to the U.S. during World War II. In 1954, Weaver enlisted in the United States Army, where he excelled in Ranger School before being recruited into the CIA for his Russian language. Weaver was assigned to infiltrate Dragovich's launch facility and disable the rocket that is set to launch at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the USSR. However, before he could do that, he was compromised and captured by Dragovich's second-in-command, Kravchenko. Later, Woods and Mason spotted him via a pair of binoculars. He was tied to a chair and interrogated near an MI-8. Kravchenko then called Woods on the radio and told them he would only be spared if they surrendered. When Mason and Woods do not comply, Kravchenko buries a knife into Weaver's eye and moves him into a nearby building when he was eventually rescued by Mason. After the Baikonur mission, Weaver develops a bond with Woods and Mason for saving his life. However, Mason's deteriorating mental condition has caused rift in the friendship, from worry to mistrust. And by February 1968, Weaver was convinced that Mason is burnt during the latter's days in Vorkuta, and advises Hudson to deal with Mason with 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, thus deeming him unfit to continue with any further operations. After Mason and the SOG unit recovered a file from the Soviet defector that had intel on Dragovich, they discovered a man named Daniel Clark and had helped create Nova 6. Weaver and Hudson were sent to Kowloon to interrogate. Afterwards, he reveals that he was working on Nova 6 for Dragovich, and that a Nazi scientist named Steiner was also involved pertaining to the experiment. The group was then forced to flee across Kowloon after attack by the Soviet Spetsnaz infantry. Shortly before reaching Xville, a slippery roof causes Clark to fall and hang from Hudson's arm. Before he can reveal important information about Nova 6, Clark is shot through the head. Weaver and Hudson continue and are eventually rescued by other CIA agents. They immediately head to the Soviet Union to retrieve Steiner. Weaver, Hudson, Brooks, and Harris travel to the Yamato complex, taking off waves of Soviet troops in the blizzard, with support from the Blackbird piloted by Captain Mosley and Major Nisitz. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Using elements of stealth to help keep themselves hidden. Harris falls to his death when the bridge he is standing on is crippled by an RPG, forcing Weaver, Hudson, and Brooks to parachute from the cliff to escape the resulting avalanche. Failing to locate Steiner, they discover the location of Dragovich's targets. Steiner contacts the CIA and reveals his location at Rebirth Island, and that he could only translate the number codes. Death of Steiner, we have to stop him now. Weaver, witnessing Mason, executes Steiner. It is revealed that Mason, whom they thought had died in Vietnam, was alive and had set out with Reznov to kill Steiner. Weaver, Hudson, and the CIA reach Rebirth Island, fighting through the waves of Spetsnaz. Through clouds of weaponized Nova 6, upon reaching the base, they see Mason attacking Steiner on the other side of a bulletproof window. A delusional Mason proclaims that he himself is Viktor Reznov and that he will have his revenge. Once through the glass, Mason shoots both Steiner and Weaver, but Hudson knocks him out. Weaver suggests that they find Reznov, but Hudson said that they won't because he was never there. Upon the revelation that Reznov was never even on the island, it is accepted that Mason is the only link to finding the broadcast station. He is then taken into custody and interrogated by the CIA. And another quote from Weaver during Mason's interrogation, "You want to die with him? Your choice. Weaver as an interrogator. Following Steiner's death, Weaver and Hudson interrogate Mason for the location of the number station. When he tells them that he doesn't know what they're talking about, they put him through the major events in his life, from Bay of Pigs to 1961 to the present day. However, Hudson does most of the interrogating, getting few answers out of Mason, who rants about Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, and his delusions concerning Reznov. Later, Weaver gives up and tells Hudson they're at DEFCON 2 and they need to get to the bunker. Hudson chooses to stay in a last-ditch effort to jog Mason's memory. Weaver tells Hudson it's his choice if he wants to die with him and walks out. However, Hudson does jog Mason's memory and finds out that Castro gave Dragovich a ship called the Rusalka, which was the number station. They clear out the ship and find the broadcast station is really underneath it, and a supply station. Hudson calls in the airstrike, but Mason insists they go after Dragovich. Once Hudson agrees, he tells Weaver to take the rest of the squad out. After the attack on the Rusalka and Dragovich's death, Weaver declares victory, to which Mason responds, "For now." And that's pretty much Weaver's character analysis. Like I said, there's a lot more. There's a bunch of stuff on the COD Wiki about all Black Ops characters, so make sure to go take a look at that site. Great site. It's what I use it for. So, Weaver. I like Weaver. He's a good character. He played a pretty important role, like I said. He wasn't around all the time, but he did play a pretty big role. He was one of Mason's interrogators, of course, as I mentioned, and he's just a pretty good character overall around. I like him. So I think it was cool to include him in this character analysis. So going forward, we are going to be talking about Dragovich and Kravchenko because they are the two main villains of the Black Ops 1 campaign. So I figured I'd go talk about them at some point in future episodes. So stay tuned for that. But that's pretty much it for today's character analysis. So make sure to subscribe for more content, like the video, all the good stuff. Discord, Twitch, Instagram, links in the description. And we're back with content. So I'll see you guys in the next video.